Wisdom is good, but Solomon wants us to know that wisdom also has its limitations. As we enter into Ecclesiastes 7, Solomon moves into a more proverbial mode. His reflections become sharper, more introspective. Gone is the experimental tone of Ecclesiastes 1 and 2. Here, Solomon struggles, not just with life, but with God himself. This section begins with something of a paradox. The day of death is better than the day of birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. Why? Well, because death sobers us. It reminds us of our limitations. Sorrow has the tendency of shaping us. But wisdom also frustrates us. Solomon has seen the righteous perish in their righteousness, and the wicked prosper in their wickedness. And so he warns us against both extremes. Do not be overly righteous, he says, and do not make yourself too wise. He's not prompting moral compromise. Instead, he is rejecting human self-sufficiency. Sometimes we can think that if we just live wisely enough, we will avoid all suffering. But Solomon rejects that idea. Wisdom is not a vaccine against pain, and righteousness is not a shield against sorrow. It is all too easy to turn piety into presumption, writes Craig Bartholomew. The preacher is warning against the delusion that one can control life through religious or moral performances. This leads to another major theme within the book, the problem of injustice. In Ecclesiastes chapter 8, Solomon grapples with a painful truth. Wickedness often goes unpunished. Justice is delayed. God's purposes are hidden. And so he asks, though a sinner does evil 100 times and prolongs his life, yet I know it will be well with those who fear God. True biblical wisdom is not about having all the answers. It's about fearing God when the answers escape you. It's about trusting that the judge of all the earth will do what is right, even when the wicked rule and the righteous suffer. Michael Eaton captures this tension well. Wisdom can give strength, but it cannot give control. It can point the way, but it cannot explain all the crooked paths of providence. So how do we live with this? Solomon's answer is both humble and hopeful. We must acknowledge our limitations. He writes, "When I applied my heart to know wisdom, I saw all the work of God, that man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun." This is not intellectual defeat, it's spiritual maturity. This means that we can stop demanding full explanations for all our unanswered questions. We stop measuring God's love by our circumstances, and we stop assuming that a life of wisdom will shield us from all trouble. Instead, we look to Christ, the only perfectly wise man. Like us, Jesus lived in a world full of injustice. He wept, he was misunderstood, mistreated, and ultimately killed. And yet, it is Jesus who entrusted himself to the one who judges justly. Christ didn't just speak of wisdom, he became wisdom for us. And in him, we see the true end of Solomon's quest.